NYYST.
Holla, why do they doubt the kid? I'm about to prove them all wrong again. I got a low tolerance, cause they don't even know what the problem is. It's me. You waiting on the boy to fail, then hold your breath and face your death. Cause you play a roulette with each step I progress, no less. Go ahead and place your bets, cause we know where we at, we know we top tier. Cause all the hate that you bring, we know it stops here. I'm taking off like a rocket here and stopping here. It's strange how they cannot see the future, but see profit here. Wait up, we gon' always win. Promise that that's not a promise, yeah, that is a threat. You know that I promise to bring the team commas.
Welcome back. This is episode 455, the NYYST podcast. We're live on NYY Underground. I am your host, Christian, and I'm with my co-host, Sem.
What's up?
How you feeling, man? You all right?
Yeah, feeling great.
You look tired, bro.
Very tired.
Long day for you?
I think it's allergies.
Allergies? I had a guy that I used to work with. He could not say the word allergy. He would say allergy.
I got allergies. I don't like allergies. I forget the beginning of baseball brings a lot of pollen.
Oh, is that what it does? And well, the Yankees are bringing the rain in form of a lot of home runs in the last couple of days here after a little sketchy start to this series with Arizona. They rebounded nicely Thursday night with a big victory to salvage the final game of that series. And then today, just about not even a half hour ago, the game was like pre-pitch clock length, the way it felt like it was moving there. Yankees wrapped up a 9-4 victory. Max Fried gets his first Yankee win. Pitched a lot better than he did when we were out there at the Audi Club, but still was a grind for Max. But he did fight his way through 5 2/3 innings, 1-run ball, gave the Yankees a winning performance. And then Aaron Judge does what Aaron Judge does. He connected for a home run, which was really the icing on the cake in the Yankees 9-4 victory. Did you know, I didn't even realize this, that he hit the home run off of Tim Mayza. Do you know that Tim Mayza is part of history with Aaron Judge?
No. Who's Tim Mayza? Is that
Tim
the guy
Ma-
that threw him the 60-second pitch? The
61st.
61st?
Yeah. Tim Mayza and Aaron Judge were teammates last year as well. Did you know that?
I remember the name.
Tim Mayza was on the team last year. And then, yeah, he is part of Yankee history. He served up number 61 to Aaron Judge back in 2022. So, and then he served up 321 to Aaron Judge today. There was Aaron Judge's 321st career home run, which ties Babe Ruth for most home runs in Yankee history through a player's first 1,000 games with the club. Babe Ruth hit 321 in his first 1,000 games, and today was Aaron Judge's 1,000th career game, and obviously all of them with the Yankees. And Judge has hit 321. It's just crazy when you put into perspective the numbers and the names that Aaron Judge is sitting with, and it's hard to really fathom how great this guy is. And I know we talked about it on the last episode, which some of you listening to us live right now on NYYU may have missed. So Pete has it pinned to the top of the chat here. Please subscribe to the NYYST podcast on Apple Podcasts. The link to subscribe is pinned to the top of the chat here tonight. So if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the podcast there. We will be recording many shows throughout the course of the year. Some will be audio only, and we do not want anybody to miss any of the shows that we put out here on the NYYST podcast. So please subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts. And also, since you're here in the chat live tonight, we're almost serving as the Yankee postgame show. You don't have to listen to Bob and Jack. You can listen to Christian and Sem instead. Like this video here on NYYU and subscribe to NYY Underground as well. Okay. Tell everybody NYYST is the official Yankee podcast of Odyssey. And again, the link to subscribe to the NYYST podcast on Apple Podcast is pinned to the top of the chat here tonight. So Aaron Judge, I mean, I know, like I said, we really waxed poetic about Judge last episode, so I don't want to go crazy on that again today. But is just insane when you put into perspective of what he has done in his career, and the fact that if it wasn't for him getting hit by a pitch by Jacob Junis in 2018, if it wasn't for him running into the wall in LA in 2023, what his career numbers may have looked like. That he's only hitting his 1,000th career game right now because of some of the freakish injuries that he suffered and the numbers that he's put up. It's really, it's almost a shame in a way that he went to college, but I guess it's all part of his development and story that he did go to college. Because if he would have been somebody that went to the minors right out of high school and kind of came up at like 2021, what his final career numbers would be looking like, because he's at 321. I figure what, conservatively, he'll hit another 40 home runs this year. I think he's going to clear 50 easily. But let's say, so he finishes the season at, let's say, 365. So he's got to have another 4+ years, 5 years of hitting 40 plus home runs to get to 500, which is really the magic number here. And then you're going to look back and say, oh, Aaron Judge only finished with 525, whatever the number is. I don't know if he's got a real shot to get to 600 or not, but it's just, he might not be looked at that top tier of the greatest of the greats because of where he finishes, because he came up later than some of these guys did. But my goodness, man, just the greatness of this guy is just unbelievable, and we witness it on a day in and day out basis. And just to see that he's matched what Babe Ruth did, it's just unbelievable.
He's crazy. We said last week could stop and watch baseball, and I did it today. I had gotten up and I had to do something, and the inning had started, and I think I was in my kitchen, and then I heard Ben Rice's name, so I ran over because I wanted to catch Judge, and that's how I watched the home run get hit, because I just had to run to my TV. I had to stop doing what I was doing because I have to watch this guy bat. He makes it look so effortless when he actually finally when he hits the ball. He could be 2 strikeouts, 3 strikeouts, and then wham, he just clobbers it and it's gone. And it's amazing. I think I still have Aaron Judge dripping down my chin from the last podcast, but
Okay.
it's it's I the guy's amazing. He really is. And like I said, he's a role model. He handles everything the right way, says the right things, and he's obliterates that ball.
Even on a day like today, like people will look and say, "Oh, he struck out 3 times," but it's just then that play that he makes out in right field. You're holding your breath because him and Walls have a bad history together, and he's so goddamn big that any awkward fall can really injure him. Because we've seen that too. He punctured a lung diving for a ball in center field. I forget. I had to be in 2019. I think that happened, and he played. He played in the postseason with that injury. It's just you worry about him sometimes, like I said, because he is so big. But it's just the Yankees are really, if you take out what happened on Tuesday, it was Tuesday, right? They were off Monday. If you take out what happened on Tuesday, which I can't really get on Aaron Boone too much, it just shows what the effect of not having one of your guys is, because the Yankees probably win that game. Congratulations to Devin Williams and his partner. I don't know if it's his wife or his girlfriend, but congratulations on them on the birth of their son during the week. And former contributor to the NYYST podcast, OGs will know this person. If one of our first sponsors, Brandon Rendini, uh, uh, and his wife welcomed their baby girl into the world earlier this week too. So congratulations to them. I wanted to give him a shout out here this week because he did play a role on the show at some point. So way back in the day. So like I said, OGs will definitely remember that. Um, but it just goes to show what it is when you're missing one of your guys and how other guys have to kind of step up there, because if you figure if Devin Williams is there, the Yankees don't have to get through the back end of that game with Mark Leiter and Tim Hill. They can go to Weaver in the eighth, and then Williams in the ninth, and they probably win that game. And you're looking at a team that's 6-1 right now. They're 5-2, which I think anybody would have signed up for at this point, given all the question marks and the injuries. That through 7 games, The Yankees are 5-2, so they're in a good spot right here. I am a little concerned about the pitching. I think the back end of this bullpen will be fine. It's the guys leading up to the back end of the bullpen that are concerning me a little bit because you've seen big home runs given up in the past couple of days. Whether it was two grand slams against Arizona, which the one yesterday made that game a lot hairier than it needed to be. Although the 3-run home run today didn't really, I think Kay said that Pittsburgh, they were not really back in the game, but it's now like, okay, I can't like walk away from the game. I still have to like kind of pay attention to it. So you're a little worried about that, but you look at Loizaga is going to be back in a couple weeks. Hamilton probably be back against Detroit. So in the coming days here, so you're seeing that reinforcements are going to be coming. So maybe some of these guys that you don't trust as much will not be here or not be as much of a factor. Although I do think the Yankees really do like Mark Leiter Jr. Although when you look at him, when Hal lifted the ban on facial hair, that's not what he had in mind. Whatever that atrocity is growing on Mark Leiter Jr.'s face.
Yeah, I didn't even look at. I don't like Mark Leiter Jr. I mean, like, so I didn't pay attention to his beard, so I can't speak on that. But it's it makes it makes you worry because then you got Boone who has a history of always trying to steal outs with these guys when they're having an iffy outing, and when you want him to have like a hook on him to yank him back off the field, he always just seems to leave him out there for one or two extra batters, and that's what always comes up and bites us in the ass. And it seems like that's kind of almost what happened the other day. And
Well, that did happen yesterday because he let Ryan Yarbrough, who clearly did
yes,
not have it,
yes.
stay in the game because the two hitters after Perdomo were left-handed hitters. Okay, so you can, if you want to go to another lefty there, Tim Hill hasn't pitched. He didn't pitch since Tuesday, so he had a day off. You could have put Tim Hill back in there, right? Excuse me. Or you could have went to a righty in that situation. One of your somebody that maybe has a pitch to get lefties out, but he clearly was set, excuse me, on having Ryan Yarbrough face the two lefties after Perdomo and allowed him to give up that grand slam. That's the thing that aggravates you about Aaron Boone is that he tries to steal outs in times that he shouldn't because Yarbrough loaded the bases, clearly wasn't on top of his game, and he's not a guy that is going to overpower you anyway. So if he's not locating, he's useless. Although he only really ever seems to locate against the Yankees. We've seen that in his time with the Rays, but he's a relatively solid major league pitcher. But if he's not able to locate, he doesn't have the stuff to get guys out. So once he loads the bases, you got to go to somebody there. And Boone's like, oh, well, I got a lead and I got these two lefties. And then bang, a guy that doesn't hit home runs porches one, for a grand slam. And now you have to go to Luke Weaver for a 4-out save when I kind of defended Boone on Tuesday for saying it's kind of early in the season to want to push Luke Weaver for 4, 5, 6-out saves. And he has to do it because now you're in a situation where you had your mulligan game on Monday or on Tuesday, excuse me. You got shut down by Zach Gallen, who was filthy on Wednesday. Volpe's home run in the ninth made the game a little bit more the final score more aesthetic, but it wasn't a 4-3 game. They were shut down the entire game. They had no shot against Gallen. And then yesterday, which should have been a laugher, you allow that grand slam, and then now you got to send Luke Weaver out there for a 4-out save. So you know it's year 8. This is what people don't understand about Aaron Boone. He's not a rookie manager anymore. This isn't year 2. This isn't year 3. This is year 8, and we're still seeing the same issues with him as the manager in the terms of how he manages the bullpen. Now, again, like I said on Tuesday, it was game 4. I can't get too worked. Like it's game 6, but it's a continuing trend through 8 years now. And it's frustrating as a fan to sit there and say, well, I know this guy doesn't have it. Why is he not coming out? And then Boone's like, oh, I got 2 lefties coming up. Big deal. Now you're in a dogfight when you shouldn't have been in one.
No, I get what you're saying. It's been 8 years, and then that's what creeps into your mind. Like, here we go again with the same bullshit. Where normally, all right, it's the beginning of the season. You're not trying to tax the bullpen and do all this bullshit, whatever. Just let the guy pitch, see where we end up. But when you do it over and over and over again, it's almost like PTSD. Like we know what's coming. We know he's doing it now. He's gonna be doing it in 60 games from now. He's gonna be doing it in 80 games from now. It's gonna happen. He's gonna be here next year. He's gonna do it next year too, and we're gonna be equally as pissed off about it then. It's just it gets really old when you watch that. It gets really frustrating as a fan. It almost makes me tune out. But, uh,
Well, we got a super chat here from Ra. Love seeing you out there at the Audi Club on Saturday, Ra. Always a pleasure, man. Always love seeing you and appreciate the words of encouragement and appreciate you being a fan for so long. He says, I understand that we as Yankee fans hold player to a different standard when it comes to October, but we almost have to take a step back and appreciate what we are witnessing from Judge. We often take that for granted. And that's an excellent point, man. I get it. Everybody's frustrated because Aaron Judge didn't perform in October. And maybe if he gotten hot early in the World Series and obviously, he didn't catch that ball and blah, blah, blah. We don't have to go down that road again, right? But we are witnessing something we'll likely never see again in our lifetime. The day in and day out greatness of Aaron Judge should not be taken for granted. We should appreciate what we're watching. This guy's this guy just does everything like you said, Sam. He does everything right on and off the field, and it's just I implore Yankee fans, like I say, take a step back and like I get it. We want to win a World Series. He's got to be better. I understand all that, but don't let that diminish what you're watching on a day in and day out basis. Not everybody gets to witness this day in and day out, what this guy does. And we should not take that for granted. And I think after what he did last year in 2022, like start to recognize that he's also going to be 33 years old. This might not last that much longer. So don't take it for granted. Make sure you appreciate what you're watching because it won't last forever and you will never see it again.
no. It, the guy's an animal, and he doesn't have any. He's not beating up women in his bedroom. He's not, taking the most money and making us all wait months to see where he ended up. He doesn't have any gambling scandals. There's all these issues that you see out there, and Aaron Judge is none of those. And I think that's my biggest. Well, listen, you'd be great on the field, but then you have to be great off the field, and I think that's what makes him the best player now, and because it's more than just being a baseball player, because ultimately you're a role model to little kids, my little kids. You know what I'm saying? And this is somebody who I say, hey, watch, and we sit down in front of a TV and we watch every day. So just from that point of view, I love Aaron Judge. The guy's amazing. That's all I could ever say about him. And it's just gonna sound redundant, repetitive, but there's no words you could put to the things that he does. He gets up, he takes an at bat. He doesn't sit, I mean, the guy didn't get thrown out of a game. He's been thrown out what, one game, and that was bullshit. But you know what I'm saying? Like the guy, even he takes his. How many bad calls has he already gotten this season?
I had one today.
You know what I'm saying? Jazz Chisholm's remind me of Brett Gardner, the way he's like getting up into their faces and then going into the dugout, and I'm loving that. But you got guys that do
That
that.
that pitch on Jazz in the first inning was one of the worst strike. I'm
It was
telling you,
bullshit.
it was one of the worst strike three calls I've ever seen in my entire life. That ball was never a strike at all. And then where it landed, I don't know how you call that a strike. And Boone, who loves to get thrown out, how he reserved himself, especially after when Goldie got called out, it was
Well,
just
he was chirping him, and if you heard in the background, he said, "All right, I heard you the first time." The umpire replied to him. But
yeah.
like,
Well, he
that's
had no leg to stand on if you're the
no.
umpire.
They should have to go and review their freaking their calls at the end of the inning, something, or these, or if the I don't know how to do that. If how do you kick out a manager who's arguing balls and strikes? And I get it, you're not supposed to, whatever, whatnot, but they're fucking right. When you're making a that significantly bad of a call, you change outcomes of games that way. It's ridiculous. That inning should have. You don't know if that inning should have ended with zero or if they should have had 2-3 runs at the end of it. Is that? Oh, I got so
If
pissed off.
if it frustrates me all the time too, especially when you get that gift, the automatic strike on 3-0, and it's not even really a lot of umpires just give it if it's close. They don't understand how one pitch changes the complete tone of an at bat. You first of all, if you call a strike on 3-0 and it's not a strike, the at bat continues instead of giving them a base runner. Well, let's say it's 1-1 and you make a bad pitch. You call a bad, there's a borderline pitch or a pitch that's clearly ball, and you call it a strike or vice versa. Now the hitter's in control of the count, or or the pitcher's in control of the count. You have to understand that that's a completely different way that the pitcher's going to attack, and that's a completely different way the hitter's going to attack, and that's what umpires still to this day don't get. And what again, I don't want to mean to rail on Boone here, but he's the one that doesn't like the ABS system. Are you
Yeah.
tired of this? How many times in the first 6 games, let alone in the last 7, 8 years, however long Aaron Judge has been here, are you tired of watching terrible strikes go against your best player?
Imagine what his numbers are if he didn't have that happen to him all the time.
You don't want the ABS system. Now it would be up to Judge to challenge it, but wouldn't you love Aaron Judge to be like, okay, I'm not sitting here taking one below the knees again.
His numbers would probably be drastically for the better. The guy's doing this and he gets bad shit calls called on him all the time. That one on Jazz though was absolutely atrocious. It like kind of made me tune out of the game today because it got me that frustrated because it's been happening the past few days, and I'm like, you're right back to like, oh, this shit again.
Well,
And
it's not even that the Jazz one is bad enough. Is when you back it up with what happened with calling Goldschmidt out on a pitch outside. It was just ridiculous that happened. I've never seen that before. Honestly, have 2 batters get called out on strike 3s that aren't even really close.
It almost looked like it was on purpose. And like it goes right through my mind that the guy's, he's betting on it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
It's just you can't be that bad at your job. If I was that bad at my job, I'd get fired. Just saying.
well, your union would protect you just like their union protects them.
It's- I don't know.
But
how
now
do you protect that? How do you protect that?
none of these guys get in trouble.
But
The
see,
only
that's the
the only thing
problem.
that happens to them is that they don't get postseason assignments.
Well, they should get points. They should get fined for egregious calls like that. They should get fined because there's no way in hell you're calling strike 3 when it's 6 inches below the fucking the bottom of the zone. It's just disgusting. I'm all for robo umpires. I think it's so stupid.
I
It's
don't
the
want
we.
full road. I
Oh,
do
I
like
do.
having a real person back there instead of just the guy in his ear to strike. I would like the ABS system to be put in play though. I would like
Absolutely, at
that.
minimum. At minimum. I,
But I don't want to sit here and talk about umpires for forever. We got a couple of things we got to get to, and we spent most of spring training not liking, and then I don't know about you, but me not liking, then warming up to Austin Wells as a leadoff hitter. He's a leadoff hitter on opening day, and then he hasn't led off since.
yeah.
So that's the Yankees in a nutshell for you. They primed this all spring training. They did it one game and they changed it. And I get it that when they went to their left-handed lineup on last Saturday, and they scored 20 runs and put up 9 home runs, and then they kind of went back to it because it worked. And I do love that because the Yankees are so goddamn set in their ways at times that they don't stick with what's working. And I made a video about that the other day. And I said, I love the fact that the Yankees are keeping this 1 through 6 in place because it's working. They're putting up a lot of runs. They're winning games. There's no reason to change it right now. And then they gave Goldschmidt a day off yesterday. And now Ben Rice is the leadoff hitter. So we played 7 games and we've had 3 leadoff hitters. So Goldschmidt has done better than again, it's only 7 games, 6 for Goldie, but he's done a lot more than I would have anticipated him doing. He seems to be alive, which I didn't think he'd have this in him, so to speak. But now Rice is the leadoff hitter, and he's performing well in that role. And what do you do here? Is Rice the leadoff hitter now? Exactly is he the new leadoff hitter against right-handed pitching? Because again, this guy's scorching rockets all over the place, and he would have had a 3 RBI double also in today's game if Andrew McCutchen doesn't make that great run and
Yeah, it was
grab.
nasty.
Uh, Ben Rice is doing everything that I wanted him to do and come up and show that he belongs and should be the guy in Giancarlo Stanton's absence. And right now, is that what you go to? Is Austin Wells basically out of the leadoff spot, which is I'm mad about it because I didn't like it. You made me like it, and then you changed it after one friggin' game. But that's the Yankees for you. And then the Goldie thing was working just because they were putting up a ton of runs, and now the Rice thing is working because he's hitting. It's like, what do you do? Is it now? Is it Rice and Goldie? Is that Wells out of it now?
I don't know. I like Rice leading off. Royce rakes. I mean, I don't think anybody was expecting him to be tearing the cover off the ball at the rate that he's doing it. Um, I like him getting on before Judge. You know what I'm saying? He's a little bit slow, but Wells isn't much faster, you know? So, I mean, I kind of like the Ben Rice leading off part. Um, but that's just I don't know. It's just I don't really have an opinion on that yet. I'll, in like a week or two, see where I'm at, but I'm liking the whole Ben Rice thing right now. I didn't think I would, but I'm fully enjoying it.
Shout out to the Francis Lee of Designated Spitters, our NYYU brother in the chat tonight. Uh, it's such a Yankee thing to do something all spring training and then change it after one game. Although, like again, I'm not mad because the Goldschmidt thing was working because they were putting up a ton of runs, and I like Ben Rice, and that seems to be working because he's hitting the ball and getting on base. So I don't know. I just kind of feel bad for Austin Wells because it was just like something that they kind of were working with him on, and now he's kind of down in the lower, and lower in the lineup here. So he's kind of been quiet throughout the first 7 games, but I think he'll get it going here. Volpe's kind of had a weird season here, where he's just really hitting a bunch of home runs and not doing much else. Although I think did he have his first non-home run hit today?
It might have been his first because that's what I've been thinking, and then he had hit that, but he had a double. He had a double
So, Volpe
or single.
Volpe needed to get off to a hot start, and he's done pretty well here so far. He is really benefiting from these torpedo bats, because his barrel rate was under 4% last year, and it's over 20% so far this year.
He needs
Francis said that was his second non-home run hit this year. I couldn't remember if he had one yesterday or not. But his barrel, I mean, the guy's barreling at an over 20% clip so far this year. It's got to be the bat, man. So,
cheaters, absolute cheaters.
it's still baffling to me that people are that ignorant. But whatever. It's if you go back and look at what Zach Gallen did to the Yankees on Wednesday night, it doesn't matter if you were out there swinging a boat oar and you weren't touching
You,
him.
s- you still got to hit the ball.
Still got to, good pitching is still going to beat good hitting. It's going to happen when a guy is just dominant like Zach Gallen was. It doesn't matter if they got torpedo bats, missile bats, submarine bats, whatever the hell it is that you want to call it.
The
He's going to,
Volpedo bat.
oh, can't say that. Okay.
Oh,
Anyway, it doesn't matter. Like, the guys are still going to have to go up there and put good at bats together and wait for mistakes and maybe it does help. I'm not saying it doesn't help because obviously it's helped Volpe, it's helped Jazz, but it's not a cure all. It's not like a magic pill that's going to suddenly make somebody great. These guys still have to put together good at bats, and if a guy's on, he's going to be on. He's going to shut you down. So again, I think this whole bat thing is just way overblown.
I think it's overblown because everybody else and their mother can do it themselves anyway. So get over it. So it's a non-story that someone made a story because they want to just bitch about the Yankees.
So It's interesting what the Yankees are going to do with Ben Rice because we gotten some really good news on Giancarlo Stanton that it seems like he's not that far away from going on a rehab assignment. And when I say not that far away, maybe 2 to 3 weeks. So you figure Boone said he probably needs a full spring training. So, what, another 3 weeks, 3, 4 weeks, we could be looking at where G's back with no setbacks in, maybe 6 to 8 weeks. Nobody thought that was possible. Nobody.
No, no.
If
The
you
way they
gave
made
me,
it seem, we thought he was
if you
out.
gave me the over under on games, John Carlos Stanton was going to play this year, I was going to set it at 0 and take the under.
I would have
But
thought it would have been a safe bet.
now I think realistically, should everything go well and he has no setbacks, that we could see him Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah,
And
'cause
then
it
it's
was
and then it's what do you do with Ben Rice? Because if Ben Rice keeps this performance up, it's going to be hard to take him out of the lineup. And then you can't go strict platoon because you're going to face a lot more right-handed pitching than left-handed pitching. And then do you want Giancarlo Stanton to basically be a bench player? That doesn't really work out. I guess you could look at how Goldschmidt is performing. Maybe you shift Rice over to there's going to be a lot of roster maneuvering if and when John Carlos Stanton comes back, and if and hopefully still Goldie and Rice are performing well. It could be an interesting set of circumstances that the Yankees have to face themselves with. Michael Kay always likes to say, "Well, it's a good problem to have." It's still a problem that you'll have to worry about, but like I said, I think we're at least 6 weeks away from having to worry about that. What we don't have to worry about is Scott Efros coming back because again, this guy had a setback in his rehab to come back to the team. I mean, what a disaster Scott Efros has been.
I feel like that's a name that you just hear a lot in the articles, but you never see it out on the field. But that's becoming what I was he on the team last year, or then they resigned him? I can't.
Who, Efros? No, I think he's still in
Yeah,
there.
because
So Neil, repost it if you can. I don't. I must have missed it. I don't know what you're talking about. So just repost what you want me to comment on. Um, the other thing I wanted to talk about is oh shit, what was I gonna say now? See, I got distracted. He says, G coming back is used. I was mentally prepared for him to not be around. Maybe his late May to early June could resemble A-Rod 2009 situation. I mean, maybe. And A-Rod led the Yankees into the postseason, into the World Series that year. So I mean, it's possible. But G's already a postseason god. So, maybe I don't think that needs to be the catalyst for G to be good in the postseason. Um, but we'll see. Again, excuse me, that, it's just amazing that Stan could be back around Memorial Day, which is, like I said, I don't think anybody anticipated that happening. Um, but the other thing I wanted to touch, that's what I wanted to touch on because I want to close the show out with starters, but I drew a complete mind blank there. I don't know when 8:40 on a friggin' Friday became late, but it's
yeah,
I'm feeling my age here. Um, that Boone on his weekly interview with a show that we're not going to name on this show, you all know who it is, said that part of the reason why he goes to Trent Grisham in the late innings is because he wants to best utilize Trent Grisham. He wants to take it. I think it was the words he used was take advantage of Trent Grisham. But he also thinks that Jason Dominguez is going to be a good left fielder by midseason, and he probably won't have to do that anymore. So I don't know. But the last couple of days here, he's taking advantage of Trent Grisham's bat. So I don't know. Is Trent Grisham going to find himself into more playing time here? Because now the Martian's heating up as well. We've seen life in Dominguez's bat. starting in the Arizona series. He had a couple of knocks today, and he's not embarrassed himself out there in left field. So what are the Yankees going to do here? I hate saying this, and it would be really weird if this did happen. Is now Cody Bellinger the odd man out because he didn't play today? He's been cold, and it's not he didn't play today because he's been cold. The Yankees are saying he's got a stiff back. He's day to day. Is the Yankees going to like be like, all right, Cody, let's give you a couple more days here to let him, whatever, and so they could, ride this little hot streak from Trent Grisham. And how much does Trent Grisham play this year?
What was he like 5 for 5 today or so? See, it's late and I'm getting my days mixed up, is what my problem is at the moment. I can't remember what was yesterday's game and what was today's game. But yeah, Grisham's been freaking hitting the ball. Compared to last year, it's actually quite surprising.
Oh, happy birthday, Sunil. I just wanted I saw you said you're 52 today. You got a decade plus one on me, but no,
You,
I'm I
are you
remember
tired? Are you tired, Sunil?
I remember the days of when the night didn't start until 11:30, and if I'm awake at 11:30 now, I'm pissed off.
I don't even know what 11:30 is. If I'm up at 11:30, it involves snow and I hate it. So
What? Let's get Trent Grisham's line today because he had a couple more knocks today. Trent Grisham went. He went one. No, he only had one knock, but he scored. He had two walks. Went 1 for 3 with a. He did not have an RBI, but he was on base 3 times today. Scored 2 runs, and then yesterday he had the home run on top of, as part of, I should say, a 3 for 4 day. So he's had 4 hits in the last 2 games, 3 RBIs yesterday. He scored, a couple of runs here. So the Yankees, is this something the Yankees are going to take? Look, Boone wants to take. First of all, whenever you say you want to take advantage of somebody, it's a little sketchy right there, my friend. But I
it's
understand.
2025. You can't say that anymore.
I get it. He is a Gold Glove defender, and he is a guy that has pop in his bat. He's not going to be a guy that's really going to hit for high average, because if you look at what he hit coming over from the Padres, here we go. Trent Grisham here. Trent Grisham is a career 215 hitter. Okay, so that just it goes to tell you what you're getting there. So with the Padres, in 2020, here, listen to this. 2022, he hit 184. 23, hit 198. Last year, he hit 190. So, and I mean, these are not he. And then with the Padres, they were relatively full seasons. He had 524 plate appearances in 22. He had 555 in 23. He only had 209 with the Yankees last year. So, you realize that he's not a big time average hitter, but with that, he's got a very quick stroke that really works well at Yankee Stadium. He is a guy that does have does hit a lot of doubles because, he in Jesus Christ, I can't even see straight now. He hit 31 doubles in 2023. So he's and he had 28 in 2021. So he's a guy that he can hit some doubles there. That's always important for extra base hits, getting guys into scoring position. But how much are the Yankees going to want to ride this? Because they only gave him 209 plate appearances last year when Verdugo was literally the worst fucking hitter in Major League Baseball for 4 months. And now you have Jason Dominguez, who you need to give this entire year to grow, and he's been playing well lately. And Cody Bellinger, you traded for him and are paying him $25 million, not to sit on the bench for Juan Soto's pocket dog, okay? And obviously Aaron Judge. And your DH spot, you're going to want to rotate, and right now it's Ben Rice, who should be getting a lot of at-bats as well. So what do you do?
Uh-oh. Gotta let the season play out. I don't know. What are they gonna do? Whatever you think they do, Boone will probably do the opposite. That's one of the issues. But I mean, what do you do?
What
You're
is
not
it?
upset. You're not upset right now that Bellinger's day to day. Because it's like you said, it's a problem to have. But Bellinger being out kind of solves that issue of having the outfield jammed up and whatnot. But gotta see where they end up. Because listen, Grisham might be he's hitting right now, and then a week from now he's gonna suck, and then we're all be like, just put Bellinger back in there, and Bellinger's the one we're gonna ride out, and Grisham will get in there here and there.
Why is there a construction vehicle backing up in front of my house at fucking 8:40 on a Friday? Like, what the hell is going on right now? Hold on a second. Cover some air for a minute. I gotta check this out.
He's got to check this out. It's not even his house. I don't know. What's he want me to cover air for? But I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong here. But oh, here he comes. Let's see. What's he smiling about?
You know
What do
what
you,
it is?
what is it?
The guy across the street bought a school bus.
Like a big school bus?
Dude,
Or
it's
like
no, it's a full-size school bus.
he's probably gonna turn into a camper. That's what everybody and their mother
Oh
does.
my God. But Scott Wright in the chat said, yeah, only the Yankees would manipulate the lineup for a fourth outfielder. And yes, that's something the Yankees would do. But uh two things here. Let's close out the show here on this. First of all, let me give a message to Yankee fans. Shut the fuck up with your Juan Soto chants, okay? First of all, you sound like a bunch of goddamn morons chanting fuck Juan Soto. I don't care if there are 10 Met fans out there antagonizing you wearing Juan Soto jerseys. Shut up. You don't understand how stupid that you sound by chanting that. Juan Soto did nothing to us but get us to our first World Series in 15 years. He didn't owe us anything in coming back here. Enough, okay? You sound stupid. It's even dumber than the fuck out Tuve chants, okay? If you want to piss Met fans off, wait until we're playing the Mets, not against the Arizona Diamondbacks in April. Okay, this is why Yankee fans get such a bad rap because we're doing dumb shit like this. Chant asshole at him, chant Mets suck at him. Leave Juan Soto out of this, okay? Because who knows if the Yankees are in that World Series without him. So I got no ill will towards Juan Soto. I think he said a lot of dumb shit here to try to make it seem like he didn't really go for the bag, but he went for the bag, and we all know that. But again, he didn't owe the Yankees anything. He played 1 year here. He was traded here. He didn't choose to come here. We all knew that it was always going to be about the money with him. And I guess some of us put our blinders on and said, well, maybe it wasn't, well, maybe it was the money. And he left. So shut up with the stupid Juan Soto chants. And please, for the love of God, stop. I don't ever want to, I don't care if that gets you to stop chanting Altuve. I'd rather you chant Altuve than Soto because you sound stupid by doing that. All right.
Stupid.
And
So stupid.
Met fans, sit this one out, okay? If that triggers you, that some moronic Yankee fans want to chant fuck Juan Soto, and you feel like going on the radio or on your podcast or on social media and calling us little brother, sit this one out, okay? Because you guys are the ones that chant Yankees suck when you're playing the Pittsburgh Pirates in front of 27 fans in the middle of May. Sit this one out, okay? You got no leg to stand on here to sit here and get mad at Yankee fans for chanting at Juan Soto when you've been doing this shit for years. And I get it. It makes us look really bad. And I think anybody that chants that shit at Juan Soto Yankee Stadium, the bleacher creatures should throw them the fuck out. Okay? But you got, as Met fans, you got no leg to stand on. Sit this one out, pal, because you got the worst little brother syndrome, Yankee on the brain that any fan base has got. Okay? So please, enough with that.
I think the bleacher creature started one of the fuck Juan Soto chants. But there was an asshole wearing a Juan Soto Mets jersey there being a real jackass.
Okay, I heard that it's justified because there was a guy in a Juan Soto jersey starting shit. Okay, that has nothing to do with Juan Soto. That some moron is in there trying to start shit. Chant at the Mets. First of all, don't even chant at the Mets. Don't even give the Mets your attention. Ignore him or call him an asshole. Get a nice asshole chant going in the bleachers. Okay.
Yeah.
What did Juan Soto ever do to you other than give you joy as a Yankee fan?
Right, because they just started chanting it yesterday, and I out of nowhere, and I was like, "What the fuck is this about?"
Oh,
It
because
really
I
is
heard it. I
stupid.
heard it was happening in Wednesday's game. I heard it was happening.
I heard it opening day, and I was like, "Okay, ha ha ha!" Like I laughed about it, and I think that's when it was happening up, but because I was right, I'm only a few seconds over from the bleacher creatures, but After that, I guys was talking to my coworker about it yesterday. He's a big Mets fan, and we were talking, and it really is it's very unbecoming of us. Shut your mouths. Just don't do it. The fuck Altuve, I'm all for it. I could disagree with Christian on that all day, all night long. Fuck Altuve. I'll join in there with you
Yeah,
on
and
it.
Francis
But
saying he heard it on Tuesday. So pretty much it's been verified that it's been said in 4 to 6 home games the Yankees have played this year.
it just makes us seem that almost makes us look like the little brother
You
because
look like a
that's
jealous ex-girlfriend, first of all, which the
exactly.
Yankees should never look like. The guy left, let him, okay? It is what it is. And so what? Some Met fans want to thumb your nose in it. Great. Let's see what happens when they come to the stadium in May.
Yes. That's I was talking about going to the games for that, but that now I'm like I'm turned off from going to see the Mets versus Yankees series. It's just I don't know. That whole thing is
I think Yankee fans are stupid for chanting it. It's just a dumb thing to do. And number two, I think the Met fans are stupid for getting mad at that because you guys are the ones so always so quick to chant Yankees suck when the Yankees aren't even on. They could be on the West Coast playing at 10 o'clock, and you'd be playing a 1 o'clock game against a completely nondescript team, and you'll bust that fucking chant out. So, sit this one out here. Let me handle this.
handle this. Let me I mean the Mets are going out and making documentaries about signing fucking Juan Soto like it's they reincarnated Babe Ruth and brought him back from the dead and all this shit and it's the greatest thing ever, but it's like there's things purposely being done to rub it in our faces. But that's fine. If you let it get to you and let them get your goat and then you act like an asshole, you look like the little brother. Because now they're proving to you that they have something that you want, and it's like ha 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 ha, and you're falling for it. Just
Let
let it
me
go. Who
let
gives a
me say
shit?
this as a Yankee fan of 41 years, okay? You never, as a Yankee fan, punch down to the Mets. And by chanting fuck Juan Soto to a Met fan at Yankee Stadium when you're not even playing the fucking Mets, you're punching down to the Mets. That's not what we are as Yankee fans. We don't do that shit.
We don't do that, and we don't do the fucking wave. Because if I have to, if someone tries to get me to do the wave at the stadium again this year, I'm gonna get thrown out. So,
Why are you twitching so much?
who me?
Yeah, your video's all whacked.
Because I think I'm twitching.
So
I
I just, I don't want to get riled up about the Mets when we're not even friggin' playing them, but that's just embarrassing, man. Fan base can just embarrass you in ways you didn't think was imaginable. Don't punch down to the Mets. We're better than that. We're the fucking Yankees, for Christ's sake.
but it's gonna always happen. There's always some assholes that do it, and I feel like they're the tourists that are doing it. The people that don't really go to the games and don't really watch baseball. They're the assholes that are doing it. Whatever.
All right, well, let's close out the show on this. We got a little discussion here because it's going to be coming up pretty soon. Aaron Boone said against the in the Royals series, either I think he said it was the 15th or the 16th, one of those 2 days when the Yankees return home next week.
Oh,
Now,
Schmidt.
Clark Schmidt will be returning to the rotation, which, excuse me, I got to be honest with you. Like I said, I didn't think John Carlos Stanton would be back at all this year, and we could probably be seeing him around Memorial Day. I didn't think we were going to see Clark Schmidt this early. It really was, like 2.5 weeks that he will be missing here. I thought it would be much later in April, possibly into May. Now the Yankees are faced with a dilemma here. You have 6 starters, and there's only really 5 spots. So what do you do here? Somebody's got to go, or do you go to a 6-man rotation? I polled the fans on at NYYST underscore podcast on X, and the fans, this is what it was a very close vote here, but they want to go 6-man at 31%, and then they want to dump Stroman at 24%, dump Carrasco at 23%, and then Will Warren, they want to dump at 22%. So the fans want a 6-man rotation. I am, oh, I hate the 6-man rotation, but without Garrett Cole, uh, I think I would be okay with it. As long as you keep Max Fried and Carlos Rodon on regular rotation, which I hate. Carlos Rodon, I wanted to punch him in the face the other night. The biggest Jekyll and Hyde pitcher you'll ever see in your life because You never know from start to start if he's going to puke all over himself or if he's going to go out there and spin a gem. And you literally don't, and you don't even know that what he's going to do inning to inning. So yeah, he settled in nicely, but he put the Yankees in a 4-0 hole. So, he's frustrating, man. And I guess this is just what he's going to be for the rest of his career here. Um, but he is one of your top two starters. You'd have to keep him on regular rotation while you're working Clark Schmidt back in and, Will Warren, Carrasco, Stroman. Do you want to go six man there or do you want to bump somebody?
I mean, I originally said get rid of Stroman, you know, but
People are saying, "Oh, you can't get rid of him." Fuck the contract, dude. Because if it's best for the team that he gets sent to the bullpen, then that's what happens, and he's just gonna have to deal with it. Because if you want to be honest with each other, through one time through the rotation, the I was the least impressed by Mark Stroman.
not even that. It's that he's like a cancer to the team with his attitude and the bullshit that he pulls, and you just don't want to hear it because then what's going to happen if he'll, when and if he'll comes back, then it's going to be a question again, and then he's just going to get snotty and all that shit, and it's just not good for team morale. So that's where I was thinking
Well, the
about it.
Yankees,
Right?
the Yankees shouldn't think of the way he's going to react as the reason why. It should be what's best for the team on the field. And if he's going
Well,
to be
as I'm
that much,
saying,
if he's going to be that much of a problem, get rid of him.
he's a prick. He's gonna piss people off. I mean, come on, you had to have Aaron Judge talk to him in the fucking dugout last year about not picking on somebody in front of it's just I don't like Stroman. So like I can't it's hard for me to think any way otherwise. But if you go to a six-man rotation, it puts less on Carrasco, who's old as shit. It puts less on Will Warren, who is coming up and developing. It puts less on Schmidt, who's coming back from injury, and it puts less on Stroman, who clearly petered out halfway into the season last year. So maybe the six-man rotation is the answer, for the time being. And then when Heel comes back, you look at it and you reassess. But it's everything's different. Like you said, without Garrett Cole here, things are very strange. If Garrett Cole's here every 5 days, I need Garrett Cole taking the mound. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So, he's not here. It could be a little bit more fluid. You know what I'm saying? I'm not so stuck in my way of how it has to be done. But I personally believe that Marcus Stroman is a problem and it probably better off dealt with now and just get him out of here.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I think ultimately, knowing the Yankees, I would be surprised if anything other than Will Warren getting sent down happens because they don't want to lose Carrasco because he pitched well and they need the depth. They're afraid of Marcus Stroman for whatever reason. Even if it's in the best interest of the team, they won't put him in the bullpen. And just I don't think they really want to go to a six man. Maybe they would do it once through because you have to also think about it like this. Once Schmidt is back and worked up and ready to go, he has to be on regular rotation too. So now you went through think about it. You went through a six-man rotation, not because you had Randy Johnson, Kurt Schilling, and Roger Clemens that you need to work into a rotation. You're doing it because of a Marcus Stroman, Carlos Carrasco, and Will Warren. I mean, it's not exactly optimal there. So you figure out what works best for the team. And for me, honestly, like I said, one time through, Stroman would be the odd man out for me. But I liked what I saw from Will Warren. I really did the other night, man. I think this kid needs to pitch at the major leagues. He's not going to develop into what we need him to be, bussing tables at the IHOP outside of Scranton Wilkes-Barre after the games. He needs to be in the Bronx. He needs to be taking the mound every 5 days for the Yankees. And Carlos Carrasco, I like it. Yeah, like you said, he's old. He's 37 years old. He had a shit year last year. If you want to go based on merit in 24, I guess you go to Stroman. But based on just the quality of stuff I saw out of the two guys, Carlos Carrasco's got better stuff that I feel is going to get major league hitters out more consistently than Marcus Stroman. Do I think Carlos Carrasco's going to have a great year this year? No, I think eventually the shoe's going to drop on him or the ball or whatever the fuck the saying is. It's, the other shoe's going to drop and he's going to be a guy that had a 6 ERA last year. But I think for right now, while you're waiting for Luis Gil to get back, his stuff looks a hell of a lot better.
Yeah. I just don't like Stroman. I can't get past the me there's the me not liking him thing,
But you
but
have to get past that because
you know what Stroman's gonna go out and you know what he's gonna do because he's not gonna go out there and challenge the pitcher. He's not throwing it over the plate. He's not trying to blow one by you. It's the same shit every time he gets up to pitches. You know it, I know it, and he has the capability of giving up 9 runs in a fucking inning. We've watched him do it. He's not someone who I trust. I think that, like I said, I think he just needs to go. Carrasco, he looked really good yesterday. I had tickets to the game. I switched it, and when I was watching him pitch, I was pissed that I switched it. I wish I was there. Will Warren, like you said, he needs to develop. He needs to be up here because you're not going to get any better facing the guys in AAA. You're going to get better by challenging yourself and beating out the guys in the major league level because you want to be a major league pitcher. So you leave him up here and let him at it. See what he does. I don't think there's the Yankees are too quick to send people back down all the time. And then we all complain that they don't develop their players the right way or we let them go for nothing and all this. The guy's here, he pitched, he didn't look bad, he looked pretty good to me. Leave him up here, see what he's got after a couple more outings, and then make a decision on him. Like you said, to me, Marcus Stroman's the odd man out. It's the same boring bullshit all the time. He's pitching to the edges. He doesn't want to give up contact. He's slowing down because then when they actually hit the ball, you're like, don't go out. I don't want to watch that type of friggin' baseball. I was actually very impressed by Carrasco yesterday. He did very well. So to me, right then and there, boom.
could we have a
Stroman's the
different
guy.
conversation another time through the rotation? Maybe, but I think that we're discussing it on tonight's show because we got the news about Schmidt. I would be leaning towards right now, without having seen another start from each of these guys, of bumping Marcus Stroman, and you deal with whatever those consequences would be with him at that time because it's all about winning. And I think right now, out of those three guys, the one that gives you the least chance to win every fifth day would be Marcus Stroman. And I don't want to go to a 6-man to placate Marcus Stroman. Okay. I just don't want to do it. So that's where I'm at on this. We'll see what happens in another week when they have to actually make this decision. But I do ultimately think because it's the Yankees and Will Warren is the easiest piece to move, that he will probably be it. And it would be a shame because he's the young guy. He's your future. And if he has another good start in a couple of days here, it would be ridiculous to send him down for Marcus Stroman or Carlos Carrasco, either one of them really. But right now, I'm leaning towards Carrasco staying in the rotation and not Stroman.
No, I think Will Warren's probably doomed anyway because once Hill gets back, I mean, I feel like that's when he'll definitely get, unless he's
Well, if
pitching lights
you're
out.
okay, so then you have a conversation about Warren versus the other whoever's left at that point. But right now, I don't think Warren should be in that conversation of who goes.
To me, like I said, I feel Stroman was here last year. Carrasco's just had one outing with us. I feel Carrasco's more of a Yankee than Stroman is. That's how I feel about Marcus Stroman. I just he gives me the ick. I just don't like that guy. Stupid pictures and
All right, so anyway, a guy that you do like, Aaron Judge. Do you want to hear his numbers over his last 162 games?
yes, I do.
Aaron Judge's last 162 games, he's batting 328 with an OPS of 1191. He's hit 64 home runs with 38 doubles, 161 runs batted in. He's walked 134 times and he scored 133 runs.
The man's a god. I'm gonna get 99 tattooed on my leg. I'm gonna do it.
I told you should just do it.
I'm gonna do it. I just need to find. Listen, I can't get appointments with tattoo artists. When I was getting tattooed, no one got tattooed. Now it's the cool thing to do, and I can't get into anybody anymore. But I'm going to get 99 tattooed on my body. I'm obsessed with Aaron Judge.
And like Scott said, man, he said Cookie's not afraid to pitch in the strike zone. Stroman is, and that's a big thing to me, man. I don't want to
Exactly.
see somebody that's scared to pitch.
Exactly. No, because that's all Stroman does. He's pitching to the corners. He's right on the edge. He's not, and then he fucks up, and then the ball's belted into the outfield, and then the game gets away from you. It's the pro. I can't stand Marcus Stroman. That's why I'm saying Carrasco yesterday went after the batters, and I think he's 38 actually. I don't think he's 37, and I was fully impressed by an old man pitching like that. I can't even get out of bed in the morning, and this guy's throwing fucking heat, and it was cool.
You're right. He is 38. He just turned because he just did he did just turn 38 on March 21st.
The guys like that, he's, usually they're retired. The guy clearly likes baseball and he wants to pitch. I can't imagine that he's in it for the money. I mean, like, I don't know what these guys' financials, but the guy wants to be here. He wants to pitch. You probably could have told him, you're going to pitch out of the bullpen here and there, and we're going to redo your whole thing. And he'd be like, okay, boss, I'll do what you want me to do. Where Marcus Stroman's like, I'm starting pitcher. I'm not pitching out of the bullpen. Fucking like Rafael Devers. And look at Devers.
Did he
Reap what you
has
sow.
has he gotten a hit yet?
I don't know.
Because that was pretty brutal what he was going through there. You think would he strike out 16 times in the first week or
So
something?
it was something ridiculous. Yeah, it was something right around there, and it was ridiculous.
Well, speaking of Marcus Stroman here, he's pitching tomorrow at 4:05 against the Pirates, and then on Sunday the Yankees wrap up their series with Will Warren on the mound at 1:35 against old pal Andrew Heaney. Although both of those games might be a little iffy because the weather is not supposed to be great in Pittsburgh the next couple of days. And speaking of old pals, so Tuesday was April 1st, which is April Fool's Day. And some people like to play jokes on April Fools, like make you believe that certain pitchers named Garrett Cole would be back for the playoff stretch. Although, I mean, if you fell for that,
Yeah.
I mean, come on now. But when you texted me and you were like, "Did we sign Adam Ottavino?"
Ottavino.
I'm like, I
I
haven't
thought it was
checked.
an April Fool's joke.
I haven't checked, and then I saw it from the Yankees official account. I'm like, that's a funny one. The Yankees are playing a nice April Fool's joke on the fans that they signed Adam Ottavino, and what triggered in my brain was that they did it in correspondence to Devin Williams going on the paternity list. So I said, I wonder if they really want Adam Ottavino or they just want a warm body until Devin Williams gets back from the paternity list. So then the Yankees were like, LOL, it was an April Fool's joke. You're gone. They DFA'd him today when Devin Williams returned from the paternity list. Although, I don't know. I hate to try to make a case for Adam Ottavino. I don't think it was deserve it. He pitched relatively well in his couple outings here. I guess the Yankees just like guys like Hendricks or Gomez better. And, like I said, it was just, I thought that initially that he was just going to be a warm body until Williams came back, and they got a couple outings out of him. Good for him. Let's see
Good
what
for
happens.
him.
Let's see what happens next.
Yeah, and Stroman's got his number 0, so he couldn't stay anyway.
Right. So that was the journey of Adam Ottavino back to the Yankees here. They're like, oh, we've been looking at him for a while. Yeah, we cut him the second that Devin Williams came back.
Yeah, they said I heard him that they DFA'd him today. I was like, okay, it made sense. I think we all I knew what was going to happen. I figured, but because I saw it, I think in the announcement it says Devin Williams for paternity leave, and then right underneath it was Ottavino. So you knew what it was about. But I don't know.
Yeah, I just
See what
want to say
happens.
this at the end to close out the show here because it is a sentiment in the chat here by a few different people that Judge has got to get us a ring, and Aaron Judge needs to get the but out of the conversation. He's great, but he sucks in the postseason, which he never really did, man. I mean, like, he wasn't as great as his regular season numbers, but until last year, he was not really terrible either. He was kind of pedestrian, although guys would sell their wives into, internment camps for his pedestrian numbers, which was like a 7-something OPS, that's pedestrian for Aaron Judge, which other guys would, sell their souls for. But he's got to get, but he didn't win a championship. He's too great. He's brought too much joy to this fan base to have that, but attached to his name. So I said he's the next Yankee captain after Mattingly, after Jeter. Is his legacy going to be Don Mattingly, who granted didn't have the the opportunities in the postseason that Aaron Judge did, but you know, Don Mattingly, no championships, or is his legacy going to be closer to Derek Jeter's, who's the captain, who's got the ring? He needs to get that ring. We all know that he needs to be a major part of it. We all understand that, but don't take this for granted, please. I'm begging everybody that's listening to this show to not take this man's greatness for granted because we will never witness this again. I
No.
don't even know if we should ever talk about Aaron Judge on the show ever again because what are we going to do? We're going to talk about him hitting another 5 home runs and until we record again. And like, oh, Aaron Judge is great. He's got 11 home runs in 10 games.
It's I don't know. I get excited every single one though. It's never like, oh, there's another one. I get friggin' hype.
And it's
I'm
like,
s-
I don't know if it's still true, but after last night's game, Aaron Judge had more RBIs than runs than the Colorado Rockies have scored runs.
no, it was true. I
I
saw a
don't
lot
know
of
if it's
things.
still. I'm saying I don't know if it's still true, but after last night's game, Judge had more RBIs than runs scored by the Colorado
No, he
Rockies.
did. I saw a lot of comparisons to the Mets and stuff like that too. And it was, but yeah, I think he's got more. He's had more runs than. Yeah, it's insane.
And then that
He's
moron that tried to get the Aaron Judge is overrated chant going in Pittsburgh today. Aaron Judge has more home runs than that entire team does.
he's amazing, dude. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get 99 tattooed on me. The question's gonna be, do I get it in like blue with like pinstripes behind it, or do I just do the numbers? I gotta
No, you got to
decide.
do it a solid blue like the numbers. Just solid blue like the numbers. I think that'll look the best.
Love me some Judge. I gotta meet that guy. I don't fly. I would get on a plane to meet Aaron Judge. And I look all the time for like meet and greets and stuff like that. You got to do stuff for the Judge Foundation. And I don't know, I'm gonna have to get like 15 more jobs so I can make a donation.
You have to donate to the All Rise Foundation. Okay. And not be a creep when you meet them because it's for the kids, remember.
No,
Okay.
I would be a creep. I would just sit there with my jaw to the floor and be like, oh my God, hi, Judge.
Hi, no, you have to call him Mr. Judge,
Hi, Mr. Judge. How are you,
sir.
sir? Please. I, I met David Deal the one time and I was so baffled by the size of that man that I just remember I looked at him and I'm like, whoa. And he just looked at me because I was doing a transaction at my job with him, and
Yeah, we know
I
what you did, what you ended up doing. You don't tell that story on here.
didn't do anything wrong.
Yes, you did. You know what you
Didn't
did.
I didn't do anything wrong.
Anyway, Francis wants you to get the 99 tatted on your face.
I didn't on my face. Let's be realistic here. I'm thinking on my calf muscle because
If
I
they
got a
win
bunch
the
of
World Series this year, on your face.
not on my
On
face.
your face. Listen, who are you trying to attract at your age looking the way you
I don't
do?
want anything
Okay.
on my face though. If they win the World Series, I'll put it behind my ear like girls do with the stupid ass fucking
Music notes or what the
yeah, music notes and clover. I'll do that. I don't care.
No, on your if they win the World Series this year, on your face. You have
I
to.
I can't do that. I deal with politicians on a regular basis.
You're
I
a
can't look like a
garbage
piece of
man, first of all,
yeah,
okay?
yeah.
Who Yanks fan 84 is chanting face, face, face in the chat right now.
I think I found what I'm good at on this podcast.
All right, Francis wants to up it. He says if Judge is World Series MVP, you have to go face.
No way.
You have to go face if he's World Series MVP.
I'll get it tattooed on my head somewhere like I hide with my hair. We'll just shave a bald spot, let him tattoo it.
Oh my God.
Maybe on the back of my neck. I'll do it on the back of my neck.
Disappointing. Francis, I'm
Face.
trying, bro. I'm trying. Even though he's my cousin, I got your back on this one, Francis. I'm trying, bro.
Yeah, what's your mom gonna say to me? She yelled at me about tattooing my finger.
I don't care what my mother has to say to you.
I do.
Oh, it's a triple dog dare now.
Oh God, now I gotta do it. Son of a bitch.
All
I don't
right.
know.
So if Aaron Judge wins the World Series MVP, Sem is getting 99 tatted on the face. You heard it here. He cannot back down at 9/11 on 4/4/25. Aaron Judge wins the World Series MVP. Sem goes 99 to the face.
99 to the face.
So, as Yankees are going to look to close out here in 2 more games against Pittsburgh, hopefully they'll pick up. FL Driver wants a 9 on each cheek, but I think we should go forehead, right in the
I got a
center,
big forehead.
right in the center here. But
Oh,
hopefully,
Charles Manson.
yeah, right in the middle here. But hopefully the Yankees pick up another W here. We'll see what the weather holds out because they're going from a rainy Pittsburgh to everybody keeps saying it's going to be like frigid ass
Yeah, it's supposed to be cold in
in
Detroit.
Detroit, and they're going to miss Glaber. He's on the friggin' IL.
Well, I think there's actually a chance of snow for where I am next week. So if it's gonna be cold by May, it's gonna be freaking freezing over there.
I'm a little disappointed. I told you when we saw him hit that home run the other night, he didn't look good, and they wind up on the IL with an oblique strain. So Yankees are going to be missing. They're going to miss Gleyber Torres next week when they hit Detroit. I haven't checked to see if they're going to miss Tarek Skubal. That's the more important thing. They don't have to face him, but it's been pinned to the chat all night tonight. Please subscribe to the NYYST podcast on Apple Podcasts. Like I said, we've done 2 shows in between the last time we were on NYYU. We don't want anybody to miss any of the shows that we're doing this year. Pete gave me the schedule for us on NYYU. I have to take a look at it over the weekend and then formulate our NYYST show schedule from there. So there will be audio only shows throughout the course of the season, and we don't want you guys to miss anything. So if you are subscribed to Apple Podcasts, you won't miss a show. And the link to subscribe is at the top of the chat. And since you've been in the chat all night tonight, please like this video if you haven't done so already. Subscribe to NYY Underground. Tell everybody NYYST is the official Yankee podcast of Odyssey. We want to thank everybody for the continued support of NYYU and NYYST. I want to thank everybody for listening and watching episode 455. Sem, say goodbye.
Adios.
Can't make a promise, but I do my best. 25 sitting on 25 racks. Just got started, no, we ain't done yet. But a new crib, that's a goddamn flex. Sign that check. Told them last year that I been up next.